Unicorns, that is number 720.
Vanilla Slice.
Ruby Soho.
And Vanilla Slice for ICT. Oh, pirouettes around Mrs. Hercules, but gets caught by Red Dead Roulette and Annie Orphan Maker. Ruby Soho breaking free for the Unicorns. Does not get lead jammer. That's a Vanilla Slice, already lead jammer, but was pulled back into the pack. So still on her initial pass, now getting lapped by Ruby Soho, who collects another Grand Slam for the Fightin' Unicorns.
Vanilla Slice in that rare opportunity where you pick up lead jammer and then get stuck back behind the people you just passed. Vanilla Slice getting implored by her bench to call off this jam before Ruby Soho can put any more points up on the board. Tricky situation there for ICT on that. You got lead jam and you can't get your jammer out.
That's right. I think her team was trying to call her, but it was a little too far away. But she did eventually call it off, did not give up a second scoring pass. And now we have a dog pile, number 11, jamming for ICT in the white. Against Triptonite, number 5, for the Fightin' Unicorns.
We've got an opportunity here for the Fighting Unicorns to do what was done to them the last game. They were shut out for the first 5 minutes of the game, and right now the Unicorns have been able to get that done. Oh, track cut is the call on Trip tonight. That means it's power jam time for Dogpile and the ICT Roller Girls.
That is unfortunate for her. She had to take an extra lap. She actually got the penalty before the line of no return, but did not register that she was called until afterwards, had to take that extra lap.
5 in the Sky Grand Slam awarded to Dogpile by Shaun of the Dead. He's tracking her around the track, putting up another 5 points. Very easy pass there for Dogpile.
Third scoring pass for Dogpile goes very smoothly. Avoids a hip check from Myth America, the last line of defense for the Unicorns. Gets another Grand Slam. That's 15 points for ICT, and that puts them in the lead at this moment.
The Unicorns have all 4 of their blockers together, but Dogpile just makes haste of that floor wall right around the outside with really no resistance, able to get that last scoring pass there. Now they've got a 10-point lead to show for it. Great jam by Dogpile.
Just 4 minutes into the first period, 20 points for ICT, 10 points for the Fightin' Unicorns of North Texas. Now we've got Heater Up, number 180, jamming for ICT. ICT out of Wichita, Kansas.
Not Texas.
That's right. Not Wichita Falls, Texas,
correct.
Right? Yeah.
Very important identifier for the team from ICT, which happens to be their airport code.
That is right.
I didn't know that.
And number 667, Beelzebub Betsy jamming for the Unicorns. Gets out first for lead. Heater Up dodges past Amazon.bomb, but gets caught by a hip from Myth America, and then a shoulder sends her out of bounds. Heater Up's has to recycle, and now getting lapped by Beelzebub Betsy of the Fightin' Unicorns on her first scoring pass. A 3-wall at the front. Chewblocka, X-Mental, and Foxy Mauler holding her up, working all together. A whirlwind of Wichita skaters. That's Wichita, Kansas. holding back the Unicorns jammer on her first scoring pass. Beelzebub Betsy fighting, and now finally getting that separation she needs to get to the end of the engagement zone, and a free pass, a Grand Slam for the Unicorns.
X-Mental collecting an out-of-play block for her efforts, but Chewblocka, number 808, putting on a nice blocking clinic there. Chewblocka able to get on the track for this game, a late addition, but she's already out there showing why they added her to the roster, blocking her brains out as her name says she would.
4 points on the second scoring pass for Beelzebub Betsy. That's 9 points total, and that brings the Fightin' Unicorns up to just 1 point shy of the ICT Roller Girls.
Number 244, Smacky Kennedy on the Strouds Fitness Jam line. Take it on 720. That would be Ruby Soho.
She was looking at you, man. 4-on-3 pack advantage for the Unicorns. Smacky Kennedy getting a squeezed out by Party McFly, and Annie Orphanmaker knocked out of bounds. Flattened, in fact. She recycles cleanly, gets up, but she's still on her initial pass. Ruby Soho already snagged lead jammer for the Unicorns.
Ruby Soho taking a peek to the bench, coming through, getting instructions from the coach. His instructions are simple. Go in a circle, score points.
Skate more counterclockwise. Smacky Kennedy has to crawl backwards to avoid getting a cutting the track penalty and come in behind Mrs. Hercules. And now completely entangled in with all 4 Unicorns blockers, but a little ray of sunlight for ICT in this jam. Ruby Soho sent to the penalty box on a cutting the track penalty. Means we have a power jam for ICT. Smacky Kennedy turns around. I think her teammates were yelling at her, and that was just the distraction that Annie Orphanmaker needed to knock her down. And she is still, Smacky Kennedy still on her initial pass.
Trying to work the outside and get pushed out of bounds by Mrs. Hercules. Going to have to recycle all the way back around turns number 1 and 2. Smacky Kennedy's going to take a peek over the bench, get a little bit of instruction, and the instruction is in the form of a star pass. So the helmet cover now in the possession of X-Mental as she makes her way around the track, trying to do what Smacky Kennedy could not do.
I believe it's pronounced X-Mental.
X-Mental.
Scottish, yeah.
I will continue to use my Americanized version of X-Mental. Watch Ruby Soho put 5 in the sky. Grand slam for the Fighting Unicorns.
And now it is a power, nope.
Almost a power jam, but X-Mental told to return to the track by Shaun of the Dead. She'll continue to work a pass through, and that's going to count for 4 points. Probably the easiest pass she's going to get, considering she got to skate halfway in front of the pack before she had to beat anybody.
That's right, Ruby Soho returned to the track before giving up the jammer lap point. So even though it was a power jam, the Fighting Unicorns winning by a lot. 14 points. 10 points. Well,
we'll go 9 this time.
I'm going to wait and see if the scoreboard stays where it is. But right now we're showing 14-4 in that jam in favor of the Unicorns. And now winning by 9. That's what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought you were talking about the jam score.
Number 500 on the jam line. That is known by you ICT fans as the Subjugator. Taking on Trip Tonight from the Fighting Unicorns.
Trip Tonight ducking under a shoulder from Jessie Couture, only to ram into Rachel Rage, who draws her back to the rear of the pack. The Subjugator breaking free and getting lead jammer for ICT.
My second opportunity to call a game featuring the Subjugator. Probably one of the funnest derby names to say in this sport. I don't know why, I just love saying the Subjugator.
First scoring pass for ICT's jammer, the Subjugator. She gets knocked out of bounds by John Wayne Stacy, drawn back all the way to the top of turn 1. But Trip Tonight also going to the penalty box.
Track cut penalty was the call on Trip Tonight. Coming around turn number 2, that's power jam time for the Subjugator. Capitalizing quickly with a 5-point scoring pass. And now the Subjugator sets her sights on finding more space to continue to put those points up on the board for ICT Roller Girls.
Subjugator on her second scoring pass squeezes right between Mimi Martini and Party McFly, completing the second scoring pass. 4 points that time. Did not get that 5th point. There is a ghost point for the jammer, but only got 3 of the blockers, so only 4 points on the second pass, 9 points total, and that is exactly enough to tie the game.
If the person that's operating the scoreboard doesn't hit any more buttons, we will be inside of 20 minutes in a tie game situation. However, Vanilla Slice all alone on the Stroud's Fitness jam line. She is in a power start situation for the ICT Roller Girls.
But Trip Tonight standing before the first whistle, so it will be a short power jam. But Vanilla Slice dodging right behind Myth America, the last line of defense for the Unicorns. Gets the lead.
Sorry about that, Bulldog. Watching Trip Tonight come out of the box, wasn't even considering going around anyone. She exploded right through the attempted blocks, got her initial pass completed.
I think she got the benefit of surprise on that one. But Vanilla Slice looks over her shoulder, sees Trip Tonight coming, calls off the jam, and will pick up 1 point. That's just enough to put ICT back in the lead.
Lead change time here at the House of Quad Mythical Invitational 2015. On the jam line for the ICT Roller Girls, you are looking at Dogpile. She'll be taking on Beelzebetsy from the Fighting Unicorns of North Texas Derby Revolution.
4-on-3 pack advantage for the Unicorns. Pistol Peak standing in the penalty box before the whistle. Dogpile leaning into Annie Orphan Maker and falls over, or that falls in a pile with Sweet Little Agony. Recovers nicely, going around the outside fast. Avoids Party McFly, and both jammers neck and neck. But Beelzebetsy just edging out Dogpile for lead jammer. So the Unicorns in control of the clock, and Beelzebetsy, after a hip check from Dogpile, sends her to the ground. She's going to call it off, no score.
You saw that nice little hit, very perfectly executed by Dogpile, putting Beelzebetsy down to one knee and forcing the call off. That's the risk you take in that jammer-on-jammer contact. Number 720 now on the jam line for the Fighting Unicorns in the form of Ruby Soho. She'll be taking on the Subjugator.
This time it's a 4-on-3 pack advantage for ICT, and the Subjugator effortlessly gets through the pack. Lead jammer within 2 seconds of the whistle. Ruby Soho, not so lucky, gets knocked out by Rachel Rage, and now giving a little toe to her jammer. The Subjugator gets right through the pack on the heels of Rachel Rage. Red Dead Roulette trying to reel back in the Subjugator, but just a couple of steps too slow. A grand slam for ICT.
Nice job there by Crash Bandicooter, putting a good hit on number 350. That would be Rachel Rage. She was trying to recycle back and force Ruby Soho to continue around the track, but Crash Bandicooter able to stop her right in her tracks.
Great defensive work by the Unicorns, holding back the Subjugator, keeping her from completing getting in for a second scoring pass. They shut her down. No points on that second scoring pass, but she calls it off in plenty of time. Nothing for the Unicorns.
Really worked out well for them because it looked like that jam could start to get out of hand, but they were able to get their jammer through, get a call off, and recycle. Now, let's see what happens with number 180 on the jam line for ICT.
Eat her up.
Eat her up.
And Kryptonite back on the line, looking to redeem herself. This is her third time jamming. The first 2 times she gave up a power jam, but this time redeeming herself a little bit. She gets lead jammer ahead of Heater Up, but Heater Up completing her initial pass and now chasing down Kryptonite. But Kryptonite has a solid lead right now. The pack moving very fast.
This pack had a full sprint, just like we were about to say the same thing there, Bulldog. Full sprint with this pack, and Kryptonite doing all she could do to track it down and pick up a quick 2 points and get that jam called off. Vanilla Slice for the ICT Roller Girls, set to take on Beelzebetsy from the Fighting Unicorns, both poised and ready to go on the Stroud's Fitness Jam line.
Just halfway through the first half, hitting the 15-minute mark, and it's 5-on-5. Beelzebetsy runs up to the 4 blockers. For ICT at the front, it's Chewblaka, X-Mental, Foxy Mauler, and Pooter Smacker, holding back Beelzebetsy. Vanilla Slice struggling, though, against the Unicorn defense. Amazon.bomb and Annie Orphan Maker working well together, and they are backed up by Sweet Little Agony. Party McFly just bridging, keeping them in the engagement zone. But way up front, Beelzebetsy breaks free of ICT's defense. Foxy Mauler going to the penalty box. So Beelzebetsy on her first scoring pass only has to get through 3 ICT blockers.
Trying to get some help from Mimi Martini coming around turns number 3 and 4. Beelzebetsy now going to recycle one skater to beat in Chewblaka. She's able to do a little left and right hokey doke kind of maneuver there to get that pass through. That's going to count for 5 of the Sky Grand Slam, but now Vanilla Slice initial pass is completed.
That was with the help of X-Mental and Pooter Smacker. They dropped back, gave up on defense, and went to break up that 4 wall of the Unicorns. It worked, but no points scored by ICT. Nice. Beelzebetsy able to call it off in plenty of time.
Lovely, nice 9-point jam there put together by Beelzebetsy. By the way, I'm pretty sure that she has 100% jam efficiency so far.
You mean lead jam or points? Or both? 5 seconds!
On the Stroud's Fitness Jam line, 888, that is Red Dead Roulette. taking on Dogpile from the ICT Roller Girls. Quick step on the outside. Red Dead Roulette is your lead jammer. Dogpile make her initial pass as well. Red Dead Roulette coming through some traffic, gets her legs taken out from under her by number 10 X Mental, but she's able to get the call off and collect those 2 points before shutting out the ICT Roller Girls. That puts us at the 13-minute, 43-second mark, 46-39. Fighting Unicorns slightly ahead.
Yeah, edging ahead 2 by 2. And here comes Triptonite jamming once again for the Unicorns against the Subjugator.
Next whistle's going to start the jam, and that we've got 4-on-4. Each team has a blocker in the penalty box.
And Triptonite just tight, walking the tightrope around the outside, almost gets caught at the front by Annika Sorenslam. That's the correct pronunciation, but or Sorenslam. But first scoring pass for Triptonite, gets around Pistol Peak, but Pistol Peak reestablishes position, comes across with a shoulder check. Triptonite calls off the jam from out of bounds, is only going to pick up that 1 point, but no points for the ICT Roller Girls.
Pistol Peak going to stay on and block, going back-to-back on the jams. Vanilla Slice on the jam line for the ICT Roller Girls, going up against the so far undefeated from elite jammer status position, Bielsa Betsy.
Jinx. No.
I did it on purpose.
Knock on wood. Bielsa Betsy up to the front, squeezes up the inside of Racial Rage and steals lead jammer away. Vanilla Slice coming out right behind her, but now has to chase her down. Bielsa Betsy racing away and not giving any ground to Vanilla Slice. But the pack moving quickly, giving both jammers as much time as possible to make something happen. Bielsa Betsy's, though, is going to call it off, plays it safe. Nice work by ICT Pack.
Really good job with ICT keeping that pack moving so quickly that Bielsa Betsy encountered her own team before she got anywhere near the 4 people she needed to pass to score points. And with Vanilla Slice on her tail, she had no choice. She had to call off the jam.
And now we have a pivot line start. This is legal, by the way. This is legal for them to start so far away from the jammers. It used to happen all the time. The Subjugator, though, starting out as jammer, rams into John Wayne Stacy. And it has been a storm as Red Dead Roulette all immediately picks up Dogpile, who has become the jammer for ICT. Now has the star on her head and fights her way up the outside. Party McFly comes across with a hip check, backed up by John Wayne Stacy. Another one from Party McFly, and a parting shot from Myth America. But finally, Dogpile gets away, but of course not lead jammer. She started out as the pivot. She cannot be lead jammer. That leaves the door wide open.
Track cut penalty for Ruby Soho. She is in the box.
She just got there, right?
Power jam situation for ICT. Dogpile, who was the recipient of the star, only got 2 points on that pass because of a no pass, no penalty call by Shaun of the Dead. Adding the third for the ghost player that is on the bench. Now Dogpile engaged in a 4-wall of unicorns trying to solve it. Discards Party McFly and John Wayne Stacy. Now it's up to Myth America and Red Dead Roulette, who has to let him go because of positioning. That's going to count for an entire 5-point grand slam.
So up to 8 now.
Ruby
But
Soho.
of course we will go all the way to the end of the jam because there's no lead jammer. Dogpile was the pivot and Ruby Soho went to the penalty box during this jam, so there is no lead jammer. But Ruby Soho still on her initial pass.
Solid contact there by Myth America, knocking Dogpile to the inside of the track, and then John Wayne Stacy backing up the truck all the way around. Star pass engaged now by the Fighting Unicorns, as Red Dead Roulette is the jammer for the Fighting Unicorns, but unfortunately for them, the clock shows zeros from a jam perspective. 15 solid points put together by the ICT Roller Girls for 4 on the Fighting Unicorns. That's lead change time.
What was that? Crash Bandicoot earlier?
Yeah. I'm not excited about them losing.
Bielsa Betsy jamming for the Unicorns against Heater Up, number 180 for ICT, leaning in, powering into Annie Orphanmaker and Amazon.bomb, forcing both of the blockers forward, but gets knocked to the infield, has to recycle way up front. Bielsa Betsy of the Unicorns gets by Chublaka, the last line of defense for ICT, and claims lead jammer.
Bielsa Betsy now engaged in the pack, trying to find a way to solve a 4-wall in front of her. She's not going to get much help from her side as they got to do some defense and slowing down Heater Up. So Bielsa Betsy's going to have to solve that issue on her own, and she does so in the form of a 5-point pass. Tapping the hips and calling off the jam as Heater Up also completes her initial pass, but an excellent answer. Lead change time. NTDR Fighting Unicorns back into lead, 56-54. We are inside. 8 minutes to go in period number 1. Looks like Vanilla Slice for the ICT Roller Girls ready to engage in this party. She'll be taking on Trip tonight, who only has 2 blockers out in front of her in the purple.
Well, that was a good jam for the Unicorns. Got 5 to ICT 0, but they lost 2 blockers to penalties. So starting out with 2 blockers down, ICT at full strength, and Vanilla Slice has no trouble getting by the 2 blockers for the Unicorns, claims lead jammer. Trip tonight, jamming for the Unicorns, running into the 2-wall at the front. That's Annika Surenslam and Pistol Peak, which is sibilance. Now getting lapped by Vanilla Slice, who picks up a grand slam for ICT.
Vanilla Slice staying low and using speed, flying around the track, trying to continue to pile up on top of the scoreboard as Pistol Peak continues to put a beat down on Trip tonight as she tries to get this initial pass completed. Vanilla Slice dicing through the center of the track, unmolested for another 5-point grand slam.
But Trip tonight now completing her initial pass, but giving up 2 grand slams to Vanilla Slice. That puts the ICT Roller Girls back in the lead.
Lead change, 64-56. We are at 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go on the Strouds Fitness Jam line. Bielsa Betsy will be squaring off against the ICT Roller Girls, the Subjugator.
5 on 5 to start the jam. Empty penalty box. The Subjugator running into Myth America, Mrs. Hercules, Mimi Martini, and the Crash Bandicooter. Way up front, Bielsa Betsy making short work of the ICT blockers. She gets lead jammer, now on her first scoring pass, lapping the Subjugator. Runs into Jessie Couture and Annika Sonnenslam. But gets reeled back in by the Subjugator. Jammer on jammer, and Rachel Rage picks up Bielsa Betsy while the Subjugator gets out, completing her initial pass and trying to catch up to Bielsa Betsy. But Bielsa Betsy's not going to let that happen. She does get all 5 points, nothing for ICT.
Crash Bandicooter did get a multiplayer block penalty. Looks like a penalty also on Mrs. Hercules at the whistle for hitting after the play was over. Down 2 blockers once again will be the Fighting Unicorns, so having to do a lot of extra offensive work on her own is going to be Ruby Soho on the Strouds Fitness Jam line. Going up against number 11, the skater known as Dogpile.
But again, the Unicorns down 2 blockers. Dogpile runs into John Wayne Stacy and Party McFly, and just a quick juke to the inside gets out with lead jammer.
After committing to a quick defensive posture, now it's offense time for the Fighting Unicorns, trying to get their initial pass completed for Ruby Soho. That looks like it's been accomplished, but also making her way through for 4 points is Dogpile. She looks trying to get that 5th point and get past Ruby Soho. Ruby now a blocker for the Fighting Unicorns.
Ruby Soho, though, determined not to give up any points, at least her jammer lap point, that is. And Dogpile is going to settle for just 2. Ruby Soho just coming up short. So 6-0 in favor of ICT in that jam.
Vanilla Slice on the Stroud's Fitness Jam line, ready to square off against number 888, the artist formerly known as Red Dead Roulette.
But an empty penalty box means it's 5-on-5. Vanilla Slice, nothing on the outside, moves to the inside, gets caught by Sweet Little Agony and Annie Orphan Maker. Up front, Red Dead Roulette against a 2-wall. Chewbacca and X-Mental now backed up by Foxy Mauler, but finds the opening she was looking for, gets out, but no lead jammer. No pass, no penalty.
Very important now, because if, in fact, Vanilla Slice can get her initial pass complete, she will get the lead jammer position. But right now, the Fighting Unicorns are doing an excellent job of making that not happen. One scared to beat, and finally, Vanilla Slice gets that much needed lead jammer status to call off the jam, stop Red Dead Roulette from putting points up on the board for the Fighting Unicorns. ICT Roller Girls 70. North Texas Derby Revolution's Fighting Unicorns have 66. And as far as I can tell, it's a 4-point lead. My simple math skills. 3 minutes to go in period number 1 on the Stroud's Fitness Jam line. You're looking at number 350. That is Rachel Rage, getting ready to tackle, figuratively, of course, number 667. That's Betsy.
Rachel Rage's first time jamming, very short-lived. It is a star pass over the heads of the Unicorn defense to pivot the Subjugator.
Initial pass completed and lead jammer awarded to Betsy. She's going to tap the hips before Subjugator can put any points on the scoreboard. Nice quick strategy play there for ICT, but if you can't stop the jammer and who's still at 100% jam efficiency, maybe not going to be the best way to go.
Yeah, well, yes, it is key to hold back the other jammer if you're going to try that strategy. And if it works, you get a great head start, and you can potentially you pretty much get almost a instant pass through for your initial pass. Sometimes that can easily mean an extra scoring pass, but it's all for naught if the other jammer gets lead. Kryptonite jamming, going straight up the center, but caught by Pistol Peak and Jesse Couture, and then squeezing up the inside. Dogpile, gets a cutting the track, just brushes out of bounds as she's getting by John Wayne Stacy. It's now a power jam for Kryptonite of the Unicorns.
Looked like Shaun of the Dead had 2 potential penalties he could have called there, a track cut or a back block. He chose the track cut as the initial call. So now it's lead jammer time for the Fighting Unicorns. Kryptonite has made her initial pass. Now she's going to try to put some points on the board during this power jam situation.
ICT now down a blocker as well as a jammer. 3 on the track as Kryptonite hits the pack on her first scoring pass. Chewbacca trying to run her down on the straightaway, but Kryptonite's going to get out for a grand slam. Dogpile, though, did exit the penalty box before the end of the jam, so there will be a fresh jammer for ICT.
Interesting situation there. There was no pivot on the track for the Fighting Unicorns at that point. It took away an ability for a potential star pass, had a need for one, so they're able to get their organization back online now.
I think they said, we got Kryptonite on the track. We don't need a pivot.
The Subjugator trying a quick hit on Red Dead Roulette, but all that did was open up a huge lane on the outside, allowing Red Dead Roulette to pick up that coveted lead jammer status in what probably is the last jam of the first period. Red Dead Roulette tracking down a quick moving pack because she has plenty of speed to burn, able to get a couple of players past to get 2 very well needed points before calling off the jam. And at halftime, 73-70, North Texas Derby Revolution with the lead as we go in to the end of the first period. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. This is an exciting sport. You're supposed to make noise. Derby works better if you make noise, I promise you. 14 minutes to go until we kick off half number 2. I highly recommend going and get some delicious chicken tacos from the Huck Wagon. And then make sure you buy yourself a Mythical Invitational t-shirt right outside Skates and Center Skate Shop. We'll be back with you shortly. Enjoy the fine teen party mix that I have created for you via Spotify. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again to kick off the second half. The ICT Roller Girls versus the North Texas Derby Revolution Fighting Unicorns. Captain Motor alongside the one and only Bulldog. About 25 seconds away from kicking off half number 2. 73-70, very close contest by my count. 7 lead changes in period number 1.
Last minute shoveling by ICT. That's because Jessie Couture sent to the penalty box at the end of the last period, so now must finish her time.
Ex-Mental on the jam line for the ICT Roller Girls, taking on Beelzebetsy from the Fighting Unicorns of North Texas. Star Pass is the play.
This time, though, the Unicorns a little more aware of it and able to slow down the subjugator. And again, another replay. Beelzebetsy getting out in time to claim lead jammer and call off the jam.
Second time there that ICT has done that play with Beelzebetsy on the jam line. With having a 100% success rate of getting out as lead jammer, I think they would want to maybe keep that for a different jamming combination. But, you know, it's twice they've tried it, and both times it didn't work out the way they'd hoped. ICT now going a little bit more traditional, willing Vanilla Slice on the jam line, going up against Red Dead Roulette for the Fighting Unicorns.
And that jam was less than 30 seconds long. I know that because Jessie Couture is still in the penalty box. Still a 4-on-3 pack advantage. Red Dead Roulette weaving her way through the pack all the way across. Just meandered did a complete S-turn, S-curve all the way through the pack. Claiming lead jammer and does it again in the opposite direction. 5 points for the Unicorns. Vanilla Slice just riding a hip check from Mrs. Hercules to get out of the pack, but still a full lap and a half behind Red Dead Roulette.
Red Dead Roulette peeking around the corner, trying to find out where Vanilla Slice was. Calls off the jam, but Vanilla Slice able to collect a point out of that.
Vanilla Slice showing some speed and a little bit of stealth. Only snagged 1 point, but that was a point that Red Dead Roulette would have preferred not to give up.
She shook her head on the way back to the bench, knowing that she should have called that off. She would have preferred calling off a little bit sooner than she did, but she was able to put 5 on the board for the Fighting Unicorn, so she'll take that over anything. Dog pile now for the ICT Roller Girls on the attack versus none other than Trip Tonight for the Fighting Unicorns.
Empty penalty box, 5-on-5 on the track. Dog pile trying to race past Mimi Martini, but Mimi Martini able to make contact. Not enough, though, to stop Dog pile. She comes out with the lead.
Dog pile actually got lower and better leverage, not even to absorb the hit, but actually delivered the hit to Mimi Martini, able to keep her momentum going and putting another 5 points up on the scoreboard for the ICT Roller Girls.
Dog pile caught the Unicorns defense off guard that first scoring pass. Not the second time around, though. This time, Sweet Little Agony and Party McFly knocking her down. Crash Bandicooter getting in front, now guarding the inside lane. Dogpile on the approach gets side-swiped by Party McFly. Calls off the jam, though, but not in time. 2 points stolen off the back of the pack by Trip Tonight. That means it's going to be a 7-2 jam instead of a 7-0 jam.
On the Stroud's Fitness jam line, we are looking at the Subjugator squaring off head-to-head against Beelzebetsy.
And that 2 points that she stole off the back of the pack was enough to keep the lead with the Unicorns. Beelzebetsy jamming against the Subjugator. Both teams, the 4-on-3 pack advantage for the Unicorns. Beelzebetsy gets to the inside of Chewbacca, completes the pass for a lead jammer, but the Subjugator following right behind.
Yeah, that's a Betsy taking a peek over her shoulder, finding out where the Subjugator is on the track. Fast-moving pack, and Beelzebetsy thinks she's got an opportunity to exploit that and get a couple points before she calls off the jam. She slips past Pistol Pete. Track cut penalty as she's trying to call off the jam. Nice hit there by Pistol Pete to basically force that track cut.
That was sharp eyes and timing by the jam ref. She did come back in right before she started touching her hips to call off the jam. so that call-off did not count. We will go the full 2 minutes, and right now, power jam for the Subjugator. She shoulders her way past Lupa Cabra, the last line of defense for the Unicorns, and gets a grand slam. Now going into her third scoring pass for ICT, but of course remember Beelzebetsy was on a scoring pass, so she will be scoring as soon as she comes back in.
We will not have any lead jammer, so this is going to go the whole 9 yards as Subjugator is not the lead jammer. She made an attempt to call it off, but she cannot because she's not, in fact, in charge of calling off jams, but she is in charge of putting points up on the board. There's another 5 registered for the ICT Roller Girls. As Beelzebetsy takes her crack at scoring some points, gets knocked outside by Chublaka, a late addition to the roster today. But she is really showing why they put her on this squad, as she's able to do a great job in one-on-one blocking situations. Beelzebetsy tried to get past that 2-wall, and she's able to complete a 4-point pass for the Fighting Unicorns.
The Subjugator now on her 4th scoring pass, hitching a ride with Chublaka. That gets her around Lupa Cabra and John Wayne Stacy, but she gets cut off by Annie Orphan Maker and Myth America. But time runs out, but she will get all 4 points on that last scoring pass. If I'm not mistaken, that'll be 19 for ICT. And only 4 points for the Fighting Unicorns. That puts the ICT back in the lead.
Lead change number 8 on the game so far. Now Vanilla Slice is on the Stroud's Fitness jam line for ICT Roller Girls, ready to take on Red Dead Roulette from the Fighting Unicorns. Vanilla Slice quickly to the inside and trying to work back and forth with a little weave. Opens up on the inside right around Ruby Soho to get that lead jammer position squared away.
She pulled a Michael Jordan fake on the entire Unicorns defense to get through. And now on her first scoring pass, slips through like a ghost. Gets all 4 points, calls it off. Could not have been a cleaner jam for Vanilla Slice.
Subjugator is really the catalyst for the ICT Roller Girls. How she plays is how they go. But their spark plug, when they need momentum, they tap the shoulder of 7108. That's Vanilla Slice. And there she is, providing exactly what the ICT Roller Girls needed in that situation, which was a tug on the cape of Mr. Momentum. ICT Roller Girls 101, Fighting Unicorns 84 on the Stroud's Fitness jam line. You're looking at number 11, Dogpile, taking on number 5, Trip tonight from the Fighting Unicorns.
5-on-5 this jam. Everybody on the track. Dogpile spots the opening on the outside, but Myth America misses with a shoulder check at the front. Dogpile gets through clean and claims lead. Trip tonight, though, getting away from the ICT defense, but giving up approximately half a lap to Dogpile.
Rachel Rage getting a track cut penalty. Dogpile swings the outside. Now Myth America trying to get another beat on her, and she just ducks right under a hit by Myth America and gets that 4th point and calls off the jam. ICT Roller Girls at the 23-minute mark, really taking the reins of this game, opening up a 21-point lead as we are inside of 23 minutes. Hoping to stop the bleeding for the Fighting Unicorns. It's Beelzebetsy going up against the Subjugator.
That's right, that's 2 jams in a row with nearly perfect execution by the ICT jammers. Now great work by the Unicorns. They're getting their jammer out, and more importantly, and just as importantly, not getting penalties. But ICT just really had the screws locked down in those last 2 jams. Not so this time. The Subjugator getting muscled out of bounds by John Wayne Stacy. Runs into a 4-wall and gets stopped almost in her tracks as Beelzebetsy gets away with lead.
Another lead jam for Beelzebetsy. She was the one who was going to take that cape of momentum back and shroud it over the Fighting Unicorns. Now it's time to put some points up on the scoreboard for the Fighting Unicorns. Beelzebetsy, quick shoulder shake on the outside, passes right through the inside with ease. That's going to count for 3 points before the whistle. Beelzebetsy taking a peek at Shaun of the Dead and wondering why that 4th point wasn't awarded. I don't think she knows why. She shrugs her shoulders, but the guy in the stripes is the one that makes that call. It is now time for number 720, Ruby Soho.
It's probably just because it got called off before she quite made that last pass.
Shall we take it on? Vanilla Slice. Soho in, Slice on the outside, 1 foot, able to stay in bounds.
She was up on 2 wheels. I saw that, up on 2 wheels to stay in bounds and not lose it. That was some grace and agility from Vanilla Slice. And some power from Mrs. Hercules, taking her shoulder to Vanilla Slice, knocking her out of bounds, and not giving up a single point.
Mimi Martini at the whistle gets a misconduct penalty. She'll be in the box for 30 seconds. Slight blocker advantage for ICT as we go into jam number 9. Dogpile will be on the Stroud's Fitness jam line, taking on number 5, Trip Tonight.
Well.
That was crazy.
Dogpile looking for the outside lane, dodges to the inside, gets caught by Crash Bandicooter and Party McFly, but forges ahead, gets out just ahead of Triptonite. And now putting on some defense because definitely I think Triptonite has the speed advantage in this matchup. So Dogpile putting on some defense.
Trip Tonight just slowing down her pace, forcing the situation with Dogpile. Now it's a foot race. Dogpile see if she can get a little bit of offense generated and see if she can get a pass completed, but it's getting knocked to the outside by Crash Bandicooter. 1 point awarded to the Fighting Unicorns, 0 for Dogpile and the ICT Roller Girls.
Yeah, I think Dogpile had the blocking advantage, but Triptonite had the speed advantage. So Triptonite just decided, okay, I'll give you a head start.
Ready, go.
I'll catch you.
On the jam line for the ICT Roller Girls, it is the Subjugator going up against Beelzebetsy. We are seeing this pairing happen quite often. They're playing a little game of cat and mouse behind the jam line until the whistle blows, and now Beelzebetsy works way to the outside, gets in contact with the 4-wall. Now she's going to try to split the middle. Going to the outside, cuts back inside. 3-wall, pistol peek, trying to keep a bridge going.
Beelzebetsy is one tough jammer. She is just giving as sure as she's getting, even though she is outdone 3-1 in that wall up front, and she just batters her way right past X-Mental, last line of defense. The Subjugator still on her initial pass, has to step over Amazon Bomb, but she does it and gets through the back, completing her initial pass just in time to not give up that jammer point.
If you notice how Beelzebetsy keeps attacking the ICT wall, most of her fakes go to an edge, and her move is back to the center of the track, avoiding an opportunity to get pushed out of bounds. So ICT now is going to call a timeout. 2 points awarded there for the Fighting Unicorns. 15-point lead, 18 minutes, 39 seconds. ICT Roller Girls over the Fighting Unicorns. ICT really able to grab that momentum situation, but the Fighting Unicorns are doing as much as they can to get back in the second period. While we've got this timeout for the ICT Roller Girls, I want to remind you folks that on April 18th, right here at the House of Quad, North Texas Derby Revolution will have a meet and greet at 9 a.m. If you've ever thought about playing this beautiful sport of roller derby, or you're curious to see what it would be like to strap on a pair of skates, come and join us for a meet and greet. You get a chance to watch one of our practices and talk to some of the roller skaters. Also, while you're here at the meet and greet, if skating isn't your forte, but you see these folks in these lovely black and white striped shirts or these pink shirts, we need officials and volunteers just as much as we need skaters here at the House of Quad. If you have any questions about that, you can come see myself or anybody up at the front desk, and they'll tell you how to be a part of the volunteer process. Then, April 18th, that night at 5:30, will be North Texas Derby Revolution's home bout number 3, if my math serves me correctly. Doors will be open at 5:30 on April 18th.
Vanilla slicing straight up the center. And now the pivot for the Unicorns, Red Dead Roulette heading to the penalty box. That cuts down on the options for Ruby Soho, the jammer for the Unicorns, who is wrapped up with Pooter Smacker, just toes the line but does not go out. Strong move by Ruby Soho, now completing her initial pass just ahead of Vanilla Slice, completing her first scoring pass. But Vanilla Slice just able to edge out Ruby Soho and claims that jammer lap point. but not going to get another one. No, only 5 points for ICT, but nothing for the Unicorns.
17 minutes, 40 seconds to go. ICT Roller Girls up by 20 points. Trip tonight, number 5 on the Strouds Fitness Jam line, taking on number 11, Dogpile from the ICT Roller Girls.
The Unicorns moving up to the pivot line, and the ICT Roller Girls defenders matching the move. Now Dogpile trying to go to the outside, but Trip tonight sneaking up the inside lane that is wide open, gets out first for lead. And now it is Dogpile trying to chase Trip tonight. But Trip tonight again with a little bit of a speed advantage. But Rachel Rage coming out of the penalty box has to be careful. She's not quite in until she gets into the engagement zone. But now she feels confident, moves into a defensive posture. Trip tonight not going to get any points, but neither does Dogpile.
Subjugator taking on Bielsa Betsy. We've seen this matchup over and over and over again. Both coaches have their jammer rotations in lockstep, so these matchups are not seeming to be very different right now as we progress into the second period. Jam number 13 time. ICT Roller Girls with a 20-point advantage.
Bielsa Betsy facing off against the Subjugator. Bielsa Betsy, the Unicorns jammer shouldered and a locked shoulder to shoulder with the Subjugator, but the Subjugator gets a penalty. Didn't see the call. But it's now a power jam for Bielsa Betsy, going one-on-one with X-Mental. Then she gets picked up at the last second by Pistol Peak, but goes too far ahead. Bielsa Betsy gets the free pass, lead jammer for the Unicorns.
Now the Fighting Unicorns offensively organizing to help Bielsa Betsy put some points up on the board and take a chunk out of that 20-point lead. But a nice movable four-wall working together, and a great hit by Pistol Peak. Pistol Peak. Elbow was a penalty on Pistol Peak, and now she's past the line and overturned. It's a full lap all the way around the track for Pistol. Subjugator back on the track and now on her face, and she is knocked down by Crash Bandicooter. Bielsa Betsy trying to get some points up on the board, blows right through Chu Block and gets a 4-point pass. Subjugator on the tail of Bielsa Betsy, so she calls off the jam, but she is able to take 4 points out of that 20-point lead inside of 15 minutes to go in period number 2.
The Unicorns going into this jam with a 4-on-3 pack advantage. Vanilla Slice lining up for ICT in the white. Ruby Soho lining up in the purple for the Unicorns. Jammer on jammer defense. Vanilla Slice trying to screen for her teammates. Now moves into action. Hitches a ride with Pooter Smacker. Gets up to the front. Party McFly is there. Oh, does not get Vanilla Slice out of bounds. Vanilla Slice able to pirouette around and comes out with lead jammer. Ruby Soho escaping the pack as well. But Vanilla Slice hits the pack on her first scoring pass. Gets around Party McFly. Red Dead Roulette. He was in position but was not able to turn around and see Vanilla Slice fast enough. Vanilla Slice gets through scot-free, 4 points for ICT.
I guarantee you, as Vanilla Slice is coming around turn number 4, she did not expect to see a flying Red Dead Roulette in her path. But fortunately for Vanilla, Red Dead Roulette's momentum carried her right past an engagement possibility. I thought we were going to get a huge collision there, and I think fortunately for everybody, that didn't happen.
Well, I think Red Dead Roulette might have been anticipating Vanilla Slice going hard to the outside, but she juked to the inside at the last second. That was a brilliant move as a jammer for Vanilla Slice.
Both sides at full strength. We're going 5-on-5 with Trip tonight on the jam line against Dogpile. Trip tonight trying to push through a 4-wall from ICT with a little bit of room on the inside. Dogpile's got to get around Sweet Little Agony, but Sweet Little Agony just puts her back down to the inside. Dogpile then gets back up, gets around Lupa Cabra and gets the initial pass completed. Now Trip tonight's got to track down Dogpile.
Rachel Rage heading to the penalty box. That means only 3 defenders for Trip tonight, but all 4 waiting for Dogpile, who's on her first scoring pass. And now Trip tonight hits the pack, knocks over Chublaka as she runs into the pack. And a multiplayer block called on Smacky Kennedy. So 3 point, that gives an extra ghost point to Trip tonight, and she manages to tie the score. That ghost point ties the score for the Unicorns in that jam. They're still 20 points behind ICT, but it was a 3-3 jam.
What they got out of that, though, was an excellent pack advantage to start this jam off with who is proven to be their best jammer for this game, Bielsa Betsy, going up against the Subjugator.
Okay, that score was corrected, so actually Trip tonight got 4 points. So they actually won the jam by 1, closed the gap to 19 points. And now Bielsa Betsy out front with lead jammer.
Bielsa Betsy got what she came here to get, and that was lead jammer. She's got to get her around X Mental, and easily slips to the outside and gets the coveted 4-point pass.
Bielsa Betsy picking up 4. That was her first scoring pass. The jam score for the scoreboard still reflects the previous jam. It wasn't reset at the beginning due to that last-second correction. It wasn't able to be reset, so that was 2 scoring passes for Bielsa Betsy for a total of 7, 3 points in the second pass.
Trimming the lead to 12 points and coming up on 11 minutes to go. Now it is time for Vanilla Slice to have a say about what's going to happen on the scoreboard. She'll be taking on number 720. That's Ruby Soho for the Fighting Unicorns.
5 seconds!
So now 12 points separating the 2 teams. We drop below the 11-minute mark in the game. Vanilla Slice versus Ruby Soho, and it is a scrum pack. Everybody on the track, 5-on-5. Vanilla Slice knocked out of bounds by Mrs. Hercules, but comes back in before her. And now it's a race between her and Party McFly. Party McFly, though, loses again. Vanilla Slice just somehow hanging on, staying in bounds. And now she's got lead jammer, and it's a power jam.
Track cut is the penalty on 720 Ruby Soho. Forearm penalty on number 1. That would be Pooter Smacker. She's going to the penalty box, but that's not going to slow down Vanilla Slice. Like I said, the spark plug for ICT, Vanilla Slice, once again finding an opportunity to put some points up on the scoreboard for ICT. She's going to continue to do work while she's got this advantage.
But so far, I mean, from where I'm standing, it looks like Mrs. Hercules is the only unicorn that seems to be able to actually get Vanilla Slice out of bounds. Everyone else, they hit her and drive into her and try to muscle her, and she just somehow sticks to the inside of the track.
There are 2 skaters on this track that I haven't seen anybody be able to really put out of bounds effectively. One was Vanilla Slice, and now the second one, number 11, Dogpile for ICT. It's like she is glued to the inside of the track and cannot be forced out in any way, shape, or form. With a power start situation now, we'll see if that continues to be the case as Dogpile swings around to the outside.
Ruby Soho back in action, knocked to the ground by Rachel Rage, but scrambles back up and finds a path through the pack, completing her initial pass, but Dogpile already on a scoring pass. Runs into Crash Bandicooter and now getting passed by Ruby Soho, who has now caught up to her. 4 points for the Unicorns, and Dogpile now only matching that. She's actually been caught up to by Ruby Soho, not lapped yet. Ruby Soho came back in after Dogpile completed her initial pass. So no jammer lap points in that one, and Dogpile is going to call it off in time. Ruby Soho not getting any more points, so it's a tie jam 4-4.
You know, this has been a close game the entire time. ICT had that advantage earlier in this half where they got that 20-point lead, and they've just been able to go back and forth now with that 20-point lead, holding on to it strong. Right now, they've started to mix up the jam herrings. You've got the Subjugator squaring off for the first time against Trip tonight.
The whistle has blown. The jam is on. But both jammers wrapped up in a pile of molasses, or rather ICT blockers. Now attached at the hip, both jammers trying to squeeze through the ICT blockers. Haven't even hit the Unicorns blockers. Now they forge ahead. Trip tonight, shouldered by Pooter Smacker. Avoids a hit by Pistol Peak, but Pooter Smacker follows up. And no pass, no penalty. Pooter Smacker stepped out of bounds as well, and therefore Trip tonight able to get out, but does not get lead jammer. Did not get a clean pass on Pooter Smacker.
That means that the subjugator, if she can get through this wall of unicorns, she can be the lead jammer. Trip tonight can't concern herself with that anymore. She's got to concern herself with getting some points on the board for the Fighting Unicorns. Nice hit there by Pooter Smacker to slow down the efforts of Trip tonight. But then sweet little agony putting the subjugator in reverse form. Trip tonight stretching out the four wall of the ICT skaters. Trip is trying to find some room, and I think she's kind of running out of a little bit of gas here. Gets around X-Mental on her toe stops. Chublaka has to let Trip tonight go. That's going to be a 5-point grand slam, and I think she earned every single one of them.
The ICT blockers made her work for every single step of that. The subjugator now finding a tiny chink. Just has to force her way past Mimi Martini and finally claiming lead jammer. And just in time, does not give a second scoring pass to Trip tonight by just seconds. But it is a 5-0 jam for the Unicorns.
That was a minute and 40 seconds of not having a lead jammer. Excellent blocking by the Fighting Unicorns to keep their advantage of having Trip tonight being the only one that was putting 8 points up on the board. Now we're seeing probably the best two jammers of this game going head-to-head. You've got Vanilla Slice for the ITC Roller Girls taking on Bielsa Betsy from the Fighting Unicorns.
Myth America in the penalty box. Only 3 blockers on the track for the Unicorns. ICT at full strength. Oh, Vanilla Slice. This time, Party McFly finally getting Vanilla Slice out of bounds. There have been so many one-on-one battles between those two skaters. And Party McFly, I saw her with a big smile on her face. She finally got Vanilla Slice to go out of bounds. And now Amazon.bomb following through as well. So now we've got initial pass for ICT. Bielsa Betsy on her first scoring pass. Right?
Bielsa Betsy almost coming inside and getting a check up, but she's able to keep one toe stop out of bounds. And now she's got to come in and get a couple of people past before she calls out the jam, but she's not able to do that. But still a great jam by both teams there. 129 to 114. That's a 15-point lead in 5 minutes to go. Ruby Soho on the jam line for the Fighting Unicorns, taking on number 11, Dogpile.
Less than 5 minutes to go, and the ICT Roller Girls with a 15-point lead. But we've seen larger leads than that, and the Unicorns have come back. Dogpile at the back, far at the rear of the pack, way up front. Ruby Soho in a one-on-one battle with Rachel Rage, wins that one, gets lead jammer, and now moving around as Dogpile knocked out of bounds. As soon as we say something, immediately they make liars of it.
The only way she was knocked out of bounds was a penalty forearm by John Wayne Stacy. After that was done, she's able to get her initial pass completed. Now Ruby Soho, nice quick move on the outside. That's going to get a 5-point pass and a call off. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a 10-point lead for the ICT Roller Girls. 4 minutes inside of 4 minutes to go.
Kör in slam. And returning to the jammer line after an absence in the second half. Heater up, number 180 for ICT against number 5, Trip tonight, jamming for the Unicorns.
Right off the whistle, Trip tonight gets put into reverse skate, but she's able to recoup and get to the inside, but her own player knocks her to the inside. She's got to recycle around X-Mental. Heater up back on the track and gets hit by Red Dead Roulette. Now getting worked to the outside by Mrs. Hercules. Trip tonight worked to the outside, past the recycle behind Pooter Smacker. Lead jammer position. Heater up.
Kryptonite forging ahead and bounces off a shoulder from Annika Sörenslam. Annika Sörenslam comes across but gets counter-checked by Kryptonite. And Kryptonite getting away, completing her initial pass just ahead of Heater Up. Heater Up getting 4 points on her first scoring pass. Kryptonite is not going to give up any points. No jammer point, only 4 points for ICT, but no points for the Unicorns.
Annika Sörenslam, 2 penalties right here in front of us on top of the SS Minnow. She was given a forearm penalty and a hit out of play penalty back to back. She'll go a full minute. That's a full minute blocker advantage for the Fighting Unicorns. Only 2 minutes left in the game. 133 to 119, the Fighting Unicorns. If they're going to do something in this game, it's going to have to happen with this slight advantage. Bielsa Betsy on the track for the Fighting Unicorns. Multiplayer block there on Rachel Rage. She'll go to the box for 30 seconds. Bielsa Betsy trying to get that initial pass completed and get that elusive lead jammer, but that's awarded to Vanilla Slice.
Bielsa Betsy dodges around Pooter Smacker to complete her initial pass. But right now, Vanilla Slice in control of the clock. Coming into the pack cautiously, runs out. Lupa Cabra screened out of the way by X-Mental, but Vanilla Slice taken down. She didn't get knocked out of bounds, I'm pointing out, but she did get knocked to the ground. Calls off the jam and not in time. That is going to be a 3-2 victory in that jam for the Unicorns. But still trailing by 13 with just 1 minute remaining in the game.
On the jam line for the very first time, it is John Wayne Stacy taking on Dogpile. Dogpile with a quick hit to the inside, forcing John Wayne Stacy to recycle back around turn number 3. Then Dogpile coming in hot and blowing right through Crash Bandicooter. John Wayne Stacy to the inside, picks up lead jammer.
That is the first step. They take control of the clock. Dogpile still fighting her way through. Crash Bandicooter hanging on, keeping Dogpile in the pack, knocking her to the outside, and now getting lapped by John Wayne Stacy. John Wayne Stacy on her first scoring pass. Runs into Pooter Smacker and then gets sideswiped by a recently returned Rachel Rage. Now recycled. Ops a call off the jam. And timeout called by the Unicorns. They will get one more shot at this.
For her career, John Wayne Stacy has a 100% success rate at lead jammer.
So do the end of period control. And then timeout before end of whatever. And then 5 seconds left on the clock.
So let's reset. We've got a 10-point lead, 1 jam remaining, most likely if everything goes as planned for both teams. The ICT Roller Girls have put on a great show against the North Texas Derby Revolution Fighting Unicorns and are being awarded with a 10-point lead for their efforts. We'll see if that's able to last in this final jam, or what could be the final jam. I suspect that both teams are going to put out their best jammers and best blockers for what should be the last one. Vanilla Slice already on the Stroud's Fitness jam line. It's going to be a 4-on-4 situation. Both teams have a blocker in the penalty box.
Oh, who got? Rachel Rage got fouled out for ICT.
ICT's Rachel Rage has fouled out just in time for the last jam. Unicorns are going to field Ruby Soho against Vanilla Slice for ICT.
Vanilla Slice trying to work the outside. It gets rerouted by Sweet Little Agony. It's a 3-wall, including Miss Hercules, but able to make her way to the outside. It's Vanilla Slice. She's going to tap her hips and end the game. ICT Roller Girls 135, North Texas Derby Revolution 125. Wow, what a play, what a game. I'm going to give away awards. So,
Fuck you, I'm never a bad dog. Good. Show me up there. Good.
The basics of flat track roller derby. Brought to you by Antic Skate Boots and the Women's Flat Track Derby Association. The game of roller derby is played on roller skates. The players wear helmets, elbow pads, wrist guards, and knee pads. The track is flat, not banked. Each 30-minute half is broken down into shifts called jams. The group of 8 players at the front is called the pack. The pack is made of players who play the position of blocker. Behind the pack are the jammers. The jammers are the skaters who score points and are marked by a large star on their helmet. When the whistle blows, the jammers try to skate their way through the pack and out the other side, but they will be met with the hips, rear, and shoulders of the opposing team's blockers. When 2 bodies make contact on the track, this is called a block. Once the jammers have skated their way through the pack the first time, they're ready to begin scoring. They earn a point every time they legally pass a member of the opposing team. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins. The jammers will fail to earn points if they pass the opposing blockers illegally. Any player who performs an illegal action will earn a penalty. So what's illegal? Elbows, tripping, back blocking, and passing out of bounds. Any player who receives a major penalty has earned a 30-second trip to the penalty box. The jam ends when the lead jammer places her hands on her hips, or when 2 minutes has elapsed. 30 seconds later, a new jam begins, and the whole thing starts again.